I'm Dr. Frank Newport, editor-in-chief of the Gallup poll. This is the daily briefing for Monday, the 23rd of July. Gallup looks in depth at consumer perceptions of the U.S. economy. Let's look at Americans' view of the U.S. economy. This consumer confidence index is something that we measure every month, sometimes more than that here at Gallup. Two basic questions. First of all, rate the current economy. You see the numbers in front of you. Right now, 6 out of 10 Americans say only fair or poor. That's the rating they give to the current economy. Second question, is the U.S. economy getting better or getting worse? That's a momentum kind of question. 60% of Americans, roughly, now say that the U.S. economy is getting worse. Pretty dismal numbers all in all. But where do they fit in terms of a timeline? Well, to look at that, we create an index based on combining these two questions. We can classify Americans as positive, mixed, or negative. You see the results in front of you. About half of Americans are negative. That is, those are the Americans who say the economy is only fair or poor, and at the same time say the U.S. economy is getting worse. Now look at this graph, which tracks the percent of Americans who are negative about the economy all year long. It's a curious pattern. Notice Americans started out a little more positive on a relative basis in January. Under 4 out of 10 were negative, and it went all the way up to where 6 out of 10 were negative in June of this year. Now we've seen a tailing off. Americans becoming less negative than they were. We're down to the 49% we saw earlier. By the way, let's put these negative ratings in some perspective. We've been measuring consumer confidence in this way going back for a number of decades. The lowest negativity of all time came in July of 2000, right at the end of the dot-com boom. Everybody was positive about the economy. Only 16% of Americans were negative. The most negative, 66%, all the way back in 1992 when George Bush Sr. was president. Whom do you think is more negative, men or women? Well, if you said women, you're right, 58 to 41. If you make more money, you're less negative than those who make less money. 58% of Americans under $30,000 a year are negative compared to 39% of those who make above $75,000. Now, back to that men-women difference, look at the political difference. This is whopping, this is huge. If you're a Democrat out there, 67% of you are negative about the economy. If you're a Republican, it's just 30%. Well, we know there's a gender gap in politics. Women's significantly more likely to be Democrats, so that helps explain to some degree why women are more negative about the U.S. economy. Join us again tomorrow for a new update on American public opinion. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, editor-in-chief of the Gallup poll with Democracy on Demand.